A consumer goods company ran one of the most sophisticated personalization programs in its category last year. Every touchpoint adapted, every message optimized, every creative variant tailored to behavioral signals in its near real time, and brand recall across all segments quietly declined over the same period.
Because personalization at that level stops functioning as brand communication. It starts functioning as transactional stimulus. And those are not the same things, even when the conversion numbers suggest they are.
Exactly. The industry has spent the last decade treating personalization as a natural endpoint of brand strategy. Reach the right person with the right message at the right moment. But that framing assumes the brand still exists as a coherent object in the customer's mind after all that optimization happens.
And increasingly, it does not, because a brand experience, a thousands contextual adaptive micro message, is not really a brand anymore. It is a behavioral inference engine wearing a logo.
Do you think leadership team sees this as tension yet?
No, most of them are looking at wrong instrument entirely. Engagement rates are strong. Conversation velocity is improving. Customer acquisition costs are holding. So the system looks like it working at reporting layer. But brand equity is not a dashboard metric. It is a cognitive residue. It accumulates slowly and it erodes slowly, which means more organizations do not notice the structural weakening until it is already expensive to reverse.
And personalization accelerates that erosion put precisely because it is so effective in the short window.
Exactly. Every optimized interaction is teaching the customer to respond to stimuli rather than believe something. And stimulus dependent customers are extraordinarily brittle. The moment a competitor offers better stimulus, the loyalty architecture collapses because there was never really a brand relationship underneath. There was just a well calibrated trigger responses loop.
Which is an uncomfortable thing to say to a team that is celebrating a 22% lift in click through rates.
It is. But that 22% lift and the brand equity erosion are not in tension with each other. They are the same phenomenon viewed at different time horizons. Short term, personalization wins by reducing friction. Long term, it wins by removing the cognitive load that brand presence used to carry. And once the cognitive residue is gone, you are no longer competing on meaning. You are competing on price and convenience. This is a race most brands heavy companies are structurally unprepared to win.
So, when does this actually become visible to the organization?
Usually, during a market disruption or a pricing inflection points, a new entrant shows up, a platform algorithm shifts, a macro pressure forces a price increases, and suddenly the company discovers that years of personalization investments builds a customer base that is highly responsive but not particularly attached. The engagement was real, the relationship was synthetic.
That distinction between responsiveness and attachment is important because they look identical inside most CRM systems.
They look identical right up until the moment they do not. And the companies that conflicted the two spent the next 18 months trying to rebuild brand and salience through the same personalization infrastructure that eroded it in the first place.
So, what is the actual recalibration here?
Companies need to stop treating brand and personalization as point on the same optimization curve. They are doing different cognitive work inside the customer. Brand creates a prior, a disposition, a reason to trust before a need is even activated. Personalization operates on an already activated need and tries to route it efficiently, conflicting those two jobs in what produces the paradox. Technically, excellent customers experience structurally weakening brand.
Which means the question is no longer just how do we personalize better,
Right. The real question becomes which interaction should remain deliberately consistent. even at the cost of conservation optimization, because consistency is what builds cognitive residue over time. This is different design philosophy entirely. It requires organizations to intentionally protect certain brand surfaces from the personalization logic, not because personalization does not work there, but because they gets built through repetition and consistency is more durable than what gets built through relevance.
which is almost a counterintuitive argument inside a data driven organization.
It is because it requires leadership to stay. We are going to leave measurable short term performance on the table to protect something we cannot fully instrument. Most modern marketing organizations are not structured to make the argument internally. The incentive architecture rewards the 22% left. It does not reward the cognitive residue that accumulates invisibility over 3 years.
And the companies that figure out how to hold both simultaneously, brand architecture and behavioral optimization, probably have a structural advantage that is very difficult to replicate.
Because it is requires a strategic patience that personalization infrastructure is specifically designed to make unnecessary.
The optimization got better, the brand got thinner.
And most organizations will not notice until the customers who clicked on everything for 3 years walk away for a competitor offering 10% off because there was nothing underneath the click that was ever really theirs. So, this is it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode.